Yo, peep this. You just clicked on let's view it, and I'm ticka Tyrone Cross. Welcome to my channel, all you beautiful people. Now I'm just making assumptions because I can't see none of y'all. But I'm sure if you ride with me, you're beautiful on the inside. Now, if this is your first time clicking on one of my videos, then you're new to the crew, and I welcome you. And I also like to offer all my brand new clickers a very special deal and opportunity. This is just between us. YouTube knows nothing about it, so keep it on the low. But you can subscribe to my channel right now, absolutely free. You heard it right, free. So all I ask is after this video, if you like how I do what I do, please subscribe, please support this channel and help it grow. And just like a priapism, I won't let you down. And if you don't know what a priapism is, there's some homework for you guys. So now let's get into this video. In this video, I got a clip of a crazy black lady, a very smart black lady, who's claiming being a transgender is not a mental disorder. And it's only fair that we hear her out. So you already know. Let's view it.
So you don't hate trans people, but let's not pretend that you give a shit about anyone with psychological or mental disorders, because you clearly don't know anything about psychological or mental disorders at all.
One, lucky for her, I do. Two, those are some big ass crocheting needles. I have never seen crocheting needles that big.
Claim that transgenderism is a mental disorder just shows your clear lack of understanding. And you know what? This is often what people do when they want to kind of say that there's something in society that they don't agree with, but they have empathy and they sympathize. You know, they'll refer to it as a psychological disorder rather than just saying what it is that you actually think, which is, I think that you're crazy for having these thoughts and having these feelings.
I could tell you right now, she doesn't know anything about psychological disorders. First off, if you're a mental health professional, you're taught to have empathy. You don't need so much sympathy, but you need empathy. You're taught to have that. Otherwise, it would be really hard to help some of these people. Secondly, the reason why you don't say, I think you're crazy, is because that's considered disrespectful. And I know it's hard for you to understand this, but we have respect for people. And that's why we refuse to tolerate the disrespect coming from the TQ community. But let's continue.
And you know what? I don't blame you. I blame the psychologists and psychiatrists who for years have gone about medicalizing people's distress. But if you really need some informing, then let's go through it. Being transgender is no longer classed as a mental disorder or a mental illness. The same way being gay is no longer classed as a mental health problem. But how?
Now what she's doing right here is two things. One, plain semantics. The other, talking out her ass. See, she said transgenderism is no longer classified as a mental illness or mental health disorder. Then she says just like being gay is no longer classified as a mental health problem. She doesn't use the word illness or disorder. She switches it with problem. Well, yeah, because being gay isn't necessarily a problem. Because for the most part, they can live their lives happily or to the fullest. Now back to her transgenderism claim, right? You see, all official mental disorders are listed in a book called the DSM-4, which has been updated to the DSM-5. Now in this book, you will find listings of so many disorders, some that you never even knew of, some that you heard of, and some that you're like, that's a mental disorder? Now I busted my butt and put in all the hard work to find this page on the internet for you guys to show you the DSM-5 fact sheet. The fact sheet covers changes in the new edition, update disorders, and general information about the DSM-5. So down here, updated disorders. If you see, there is no transgenderism on here. But as you can see, gender dysphoria. And on here, it's going to tell you how you should approach their care, some of the symptoms, what they need for help, right? Now watch this. So let's see right here. Characteristics of the condition. So this is gender dysphoria characteristics. For a person to be diagnosed with gender dysphoria, there must be a marked difference between the individual's experienced gender and the gender others would assign him or her, and it must continue for at least 6 months. In a child, the desire to be of the other gender must be present and verbalized. This condition causes clinically significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. Gender dysphoria is manifested in a variety of ways, including strong desire to be treated as the other gender or to be rid of one's sexual characteristics, or a strong conviction that one has feelings or reactions typical of the other gender. A transgender. So, in other words, yes, it is considered a mental disorder. It's just not called transgenderism. It's called gender dysphoria. And why is transgenderism not in there? Because transgenderism is the belief in it. It's the ideology behind it. It's the whole social pushing of it. You can actually not be a transgender and still believe in transgenderism. So she's just playing semantics. And yes, gender dysphoria is what they have. But let's continue.
But however, for decades, psychologists and psychiatrists thought that they were disorders. Why? Because they class any sign of distress, anything that doesn't quite fit within society's norms, as a disorder.
Wrong again. You want to know what is classified as a mental disorder? Obesity. That's right, obesity. And guess what? Just about half the Americans are obese. I would say it's pretty normal in our society to see obese people, but it's still a mental disorder. Shoot, and I'm pretty sure it's actually higher than that if you didn't count all the Asians in America. So let's thank them for bringing down our averages.
And so it doesn't surprise me when you have people like yourself regurgitating stuff like this, when actually we have psychiatrists now going back through all their work and saying, actually, we think we were wrong because this isn't a disorder. Being transgender is not a psychological disorder. Gender dysphoria, however, yes, that is in the Diagnostic Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders. However, not everyone who is transgender experiences gender dysphoria. So tell me again how much sympathy you have for people who have psychological disorders.
Clearly, she doesn't know what the F she's talking about. You all saw and heard me read the characteristics of gender dysphoria. And if that didn't describe a transgender to a T, then Neil deGrasse Tyson is a genius. What world is she living in? Please show me a transgender that doesn't fit the characteristics I just read. I guess the only argument she could have is that they haven't had these feelings and experiences for up to 6 months, because that was the only loophole I saw. Why does everyone try to pretend to be smart? Is that a new thing trending? Let's pretend like I'm intelligent. Just go back to crocheting with your big ass crochet needles. You're probably pretty good at that, but I'll let you finish.
And also, I just must say, to show just how much you don't actually know or care about mental health, is the fact that you compare being transgender to someone who has anorexia. Do you not realize, just how wrong that is? And again,
what? This is one of the most ignorant ass people I've ever seen. And for her to actually pretend like she knows about mental health or understands what it's like or what it is, and then say something so stupid. She's like,
what's your problem? You're acting like transgenders are shitty, anorexic people.
That's basically what she said. Saying anorexia is way worse than being a transgender. And let's be real, what's more crazy? The fact that you don't eat enough, or the fact that you want to chop your body up and then act like you're normal? That you will literally have a scar running down your whole forearm to make a mutilated penis. Or the fact that you would chop your penis off just so you have to dilate yourself for the rest of your life. Let me make one thing clear right here, right now. If Morpheus came up to me right now and said, well, which choice are you going to make? The transgender or the anorexia? I'm gonna be one skinny ass motherfucker. You better believe it. Penis still attached and all. I'm still gonna be getting mine. Scrawny. I might be bony, but I'll be boning.
This is just code for whatever it is that you're doing, it doesn't fit with society's standards, and therefore I'm going to call it a psychological disorder, even though I don't give a fuck or care or even know anything about psychological disorders. But anyways, carry on.
Wow, she made a whole video to prove she doesn't know anything about psychological disorders. It looked like she had one right there the way she grabbed the phone. Now, what she's saying is completely false. When you classify something as a psychological disorder, it makes it so people can understand and then accept, right? I'll give you a perfect real life example. People who had schizophrenia, they used to think they were possessed or witches, and they would hunt them down and kill them. They would want to get rid of them, do exorcisms on them. But now we know, hey, it's just a person with schizophrenia, right? Sometimes they're friendly. Sometimes they're not, but in the end of the day, we accept them. We see them around town sometimes, depending on where you live, but we know what's going on. We don't bother them if they're not bothering us. And how did we get to that point? By classifying it as a mental disorder and figuring out what it is. The reason why we keep debating about transgenderism is because they won't accept that it's a mental disorder. Once that is accepted, then we can move on. We can now understand why they are the way they are. Hey, they got gender dysphoria. That's why they want to do such and such things to their body. That's why they want to be called a man when they're a woman. Okay, great, fine. Move on. We don't have to go to the extreme saying they are real men and real women and they should be able to use whatever bathroom they want. And they should be able to do any sports that they want. And they should be able to do whatever they want. No, you classify it, you compartmentalize it, and then we know where it sits. If you leave it unanswered or lie about it, it's going to keep causing chaos. So anyways, transgenderism is a mental disorder. They have gender dysphoria. But obviously, you're not going to walk around calling them gender dysphoria. So they're called transgenders. And the sad truth is, our transgenders are being taken advantage of. Not by us, but by the politicians, by the doctors, by Big Pharma. There's big money in this. But if we listen to this crazy black lady, smart black lady that knows all about psychological disorders, well then I guess it's completely normal to want to hack your body up. So now that you heard everything that smart black lady had to say, all I need you guys to do is comment below. Tell me what you think. Is transgender a mental disorder? Do transgender have gender dysphoria? Or does it seem completely normal to you? But while you tell me your thoughts, I'm also gonna need you to hit that bell like the hunchback. Also click that hitchhiker button and subscribe with me. And I'll see you on the next trip. Day and night.
Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.
All my life.
Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.
Can't help
Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.